All right, today we're digging into something a little different. We're going to unpack a single page of handwritten notes that, believe it or not, hold some seriously powerful insights into our own biology. Let's see what it has to say. So, what you're looking at right here is the source for this entire breakdown. It's just one page of notes. But what's really fascinating is the date you can see at the top, October 2nd, 2025. It's like this little dispatch from the near future, and it outlines some totally timeless truths about how our bodies work, starting with the absolute basics. So, this note kicks things off with one of the most critical nutrients there is, protein. Now, we usually hear protein and immediately think muscles, right? But as these notes remind us, its job is way, way more fundamental than that. So let's break down what it actually does. What I love about this is how it just simplifies protein's role into three core jobs. First, it supports our bones, helping to replace old bone cells. Second, it's the fuel for our cellular metabolism, basically keeping our internal engines humming along. And finally, and this is a big one, it provides the raw materials our body needs to regenerate literally everything, from our skin to our organs. So, here's the key takeaway. You gotta think of protein as the ultimate maintenance crew for your entire body. Seriously, this isn't just about building bigger biceps. It's about the constant, vital repair work that keeps us healthy from the inside out. Okay, so if protein is our body's essential maintenance crew, what happens when that crew is, well, short-staffed? The note actually lays out some really clear warning signs for when we're just not getting enough. And yeah, the consequences are pretty direct and serious. Without enough protein, your body can actually start to break down its own muscle tissue for energy, which leads to less muscle mass. Naturally, that means you feel weaker, and on top of that, the body's critical ability to repair itself gets compromised. It's a total chain reaction, showing how not getting enough of this one building block can have this domino effect on our overall strength. Three major consequences, all stemming from just one deficiency. This note doesn't just stop at the big picture, though. It also zooms way in on one very specific and kind of curious example of how our bodies adapt over time. Now, for my favorite part of the note, which it actually calls a wellness gem. It takes these big ideas we've just talked about, like tissue regeneration, and applies them to a super specific and common sign of aging that you might not expect. So here is the question the note asks. Why do older people tend to get more calluses and corns on their feet? I mean, it seems like such a random question, but the answer reveals this really beautiful little mechanism of our biology. To get the answer, we first need to know this term, the adipose layer. It sounds fancy, but it's really just the layer of fat right underneath our skin. It's our body's natural cushion that protects us from bumps, pressure, and friction. And this just explains the whole process perfectly. As we get older, that natural fatty cushion, that adipose layer, it starts to get thinner, especially on the soles of our feet. So that means our skin has less natural padding. Because of that, it's more vulnerable to all the pressure and friction from just walking around. So what does the body do? It builds up its own armor. It creates this thickened, hardened skin for protection. And that is what a callus is. This is just such a great example of a core principle of biology, right? What happens on a small internal level, like a fatty layer thinning out, has very real and visible effects on the outside. Our bodies are constantly adapting. The note describes this in a really cool way, pointing to what it calls a reduction of the lucid layer that normally protects the skin. Now, lucid layer might just be a simple term for that fatty cushion, but the quote just perfectly captures the whole idea. You lose a protective layer, and that leads to a physical change. It's just a simple, elegant piece of biological cause and effect. So in the end, this simple note from 2025 is really just a powerful reminder of the fundamentals. Our bodies are built, maintained, and protected by these basic biological processes, which leaves us with a final question to think about. Knowing this, what's one thing you can do today to support your body's foundation?